If you suddenly suffer from psychosis while you are in Jerusalem, if you were previously delusion-free, if your psychosis can be accurately described as religious in theme, then you, my friend, might be suffering from Jerusalem syndrome, the spontaneous religious psychosis attributed to just physically being in the city of Jerusalem. Sufferers often believe they are biblical figures like John the Baptist or the Virgin Mary. They've been found wandering the desert, swaddled in a bedsheet, anxiously awaiting the birth of the baby Jesus. The only way to prevent Jerusalem syndrome, apparently, is to stay away from Jerusalem. It's a geographically dependent disorder. Well, here in the United States, we may have a parallel syndrome afflicting some particular facets of the conservative movement. Only this one is not associated specifically with geography so much as it associates with a specific time period. It began with, probably, I guess, with anti-immigration activists so dedicated to defending the country's borders that they got all Bernard Goetze, traveled down to the U.S.-Mexico border themselves, got all vigilante on themselves, and called themselves the Minutemen, a title borrowed from the colonial militia active during the Revolutionary War. Unlike their namesake, the modern anti-immigrant Minutemen were and are a little embarrassing. For example, the founder of the Minuteman Project was accused this year of selling his endorsement to political candidates, as in, you hire a firm to which this man has ties, and the great Jim Gilchrist will lend you his immigration-hating name for his campaign. Classy. Then there was the whole Glenn Beck-ish Tea Party thing. It got off to a very 18th century aesthetic start when Mr. Beck published his version of Thomas Paine's famous political pamphlet, Common Sense. Mr. Beck's version is called Common Sense by Glenn Beck. And look, the cover resembles parchment, just like the founding fathers used to write their best-selling screeds against the out-of-control American government that they were busy creating. Also published in a way that resembled parchment was the Mount Vernon Statement, named after George Washington's estate, where it was signed by a number of conservatives in February. This was sort of an insipid list of conservative principles, so vague and watered down that even I, a liberal commie pinko, can agree with most of them. This all led, rather predictably, to the obvious conclusion that at Tea Party protests, one simply must wear double-breasted pants. Tricorn hat optional, but strongly encouraged. If done right, this sort of looks like you're wearing 3 perfectly blocked baseball caps all at once, with the brims evenly distributed around your head. But things now, despite this emerging aesthetic, I think things have gone too far. The Washington Post is now reporting that self-identified Tea Partiers are flocking to colonial Williamsburg and claiming it as their own. They attend all the big events with the Patrick Henry reenactor and the Thomas Jefferson reenactor and the George Washington reenactor. They reportedly cheer very loudly at certain Tea Party-approved sentiments and call upon the reenactors to defend or challenge modern-day policies. Give me liberty or give me death, but don't you dare give me Obamacare. Okay, you know what? Politics aside, just serious here just for a moment, all right? Can we just all agree that reenactors should be left alone? The Colonial Williamsburg Foundation is a nonpartisan and nonprofit thing. Reenactors work very hard for their money in some very restrictive structural garments. And while you are trying to justify your political beliefs in a tete-a-tete with Jefferson, Jefferson is just trying to do his job, and his job means not breaking character long enough to tell you that he really doesn't want to talk to you about TARP. So everybody please leave the reenactors alone. Hands off all petticoats, waistcoats, and frocks. Your country thanks you.